Baseball is a sport of tradition, of sunflower seeds, chalk lines, and the crack of a wooden bat. For over 150 years, it was managed by instinct, experience, and an almost religious reverence for the past. But underneath all that nostalgia, something radical has happened. Quietly, steadily, and then all at once, baseball became the most data-saturated sport on the planet. Today, every pitch is measured down to its spin rate. Every batted ball is tracked from contact to landing. Every outfielder's route to a fly ball is graded with geometric precision. Cameras embedded in the stadium's infrastructure capture data points that didn't even have names 10 years ago. The front office analyst with a spreadsheet has become just as important as a scout with a radar gun. The numbers are staggering. In a single MLB season, StatCast, the league's proprietary tracking system, generates over 7 terabytes of data. Games aren't just played, they're modeled, predicted, and reconstructed in 3D. But how did we get here? And what does it all mean for the game we watch, the players who play it, and the coaches who manage it? This is the story of how technology quietly took over baseball, from the broadcast booth to the dugout to deep inside the pitching mound. Let's start with the experience at home, because while the game on the field may look familiar, the way we see and understand it has been completely transformed by cameras, graphics, and augmented data overlays. The single biggest leap in baseball broadcasting didn't come from a camera angle or a new studio set. It came from a tracking system, StatCast. Launched league-wide in 2015, is the engine that powers almost everything you see on a modern MLB broadcast. Originally built using a combination of TrackMan radar and Chiron-Hago cameras, StatCast was overhauled in 2020 when MLB partnered with Hawkeye Innovations, the same company behind tennis line calling and NFL replay, to replace the radar-based system with a fully optical one. The current setup uses 12 high-speed cameras mounted around each stadium, working together to track the ball, every player, and even the umpires at 300 frames per second. The stadium triangulates position data to produce measurements accurate to within fractions of an inch. What does that mean in practice? On any given pitch, StatCast can tell you pitch velocity, spin rate, and spin axis, vertical and horizontal movement, release point and extension off the mound, exit velocity and launch angle off the bat, projected home run distance, sprint speed for any player on any play, outfielder route efficiency, and jump rating. These numbers now appear in real time on broadcasts. When you see a graphic flash across the screen showing a 2,800 RPM curveball breaking 18 inches or 112 mile per hour exit velocity on a line drive, that's StatCast. When you see a 5% catch probability on a robbed home run, those metrics are calculated using StatCast's advanced data engineering. This is baseball's single most important broadcast technology, and it has fundamentally changed how the game is explained and understood. If the yellow first down line is the NFL's most iconic broadcast graphic, baseball's equivalent is the strike zone box. The K-zone, as ESPN calls it, or its equivalent on other networks, is a virtual rectangle overlaid on the live pitch view, showing the rulebook strike zone and exactly where each pitch crossed the plate. What looks simple is technically remarkable. The strike zone is not a fixed object. It changes for every batter based on their height and stance. The top of the zone is the midpoint between their shoulders and belt. The bottom is the hollow of the knee. Broadcast systems have to calculate this dynamically for each at-bat. Here's how it works. Hawkeye cameras track the ball's full trajectory through the hitting zone. The system back calculates the exact location of the ball as it crosses the front of home plate. That position is then mapped against the personalized strike zone for that batter. The result is rendered in real time over the broadcast feed. Like the NFL's first down line, the technology has to account for camera angle, lens distortion, and the movement of the broadcast camera during the pitch. The result isn't always perfect, but it's transformed how fans evaluate umpire calls and has fueled years of debate about accuracy and consistency. Increasingly, those debates are leading somewhere, the rise of automated umpiring, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Beyond StatCast, MLB broadcasts use a massive array of cameras to capture the game from every angle. A nationally televised game typically deploys 25 to 40 cameras, including high home plate cameras that capture the catcher's perspective on every pitch, center field cameras, the bread and butter view showing the pitcher, batter, and catcher, robocams mounted in the catwalks for overhead and wide-angle replays, super slow-motion phantom cameras capturing swings and impact at 1,000 plus frames per second, batter eye cameras embedded behind the center field wall, spider cam, and cable suspended rigs that zip across the outfield. The Phantom cameras deserve special mention. When you see a slow motion replay of a batter's hands separating from the bat during a swing, or the exact frame a ball explodes off a wooden bat, that's a Phantom Flex 4K, the same camera used in NFL broadcasts and Hollywood films. At 4K resolution and 1,000 frames per second, these rigs cost over $300,000, and their operators are among the most skilled in sports television. Modern baseball broadcasts are layered with augmented reality graphics that would have looked like science fiction 20 years ago. Beyond the strike zone, fans now see real-time pitch movement charts showing the 3D break of every offering, spray charts showing a batter's historical tendencies against specific pitch types, defensive shift graphics showing where fielders are positioned before a pitch, exit velocity and projected landing zones on home runs, calculated before the ball even lands, win probability meters that update after every pitch, live pitch arsenal breakdowns showing what a pitcher has thrown and how effective each pitch has been. These graphics are more than just cosmetic. They pull from the same StatCast feed that teams use internally, which means, in some cases, fans at home are watching the same data the dugout is working with. Capturing the sound of baseball is a craft all its own. The game is full of sonic texture, the crack of the bat, the pop of the catcher's mitt, the roar of a crowd on a walk-off. Delivering that to living rooms across the country takes a dedicated audio infrastructure. MLB broadcasts use parabolic microphones positioned behind home plate and down the baselines to capture ball-on-bat contact and crowd ambience. Embedded field mics near the pitcher's mound, base bags, and dugout entrances. Wireless lav mics for mic'd up players, typically a pitcher or position player, selected pregame by the broadcast team. Hot mic setups in on-field dugout areas that capture manager and coach conversations. The bat crack you hear at home is often a combination of the direct contact mic and ambient crowd audio, blended and EQ'd in real time inside the broadcast truck. Producers walk a careful line. Too much ambient noise drowns the action. Too little feels sterile. Mic'd up players have produced some of baseball's most memorable broadcast moments. Overhearing a pitcher talk to himself through an inning, a fielder's reaction to a diving catch, a manager's calm instruction to a young reliever in the middle of a crisis is critical to what we see on the field. Players have even been mic'd up during games, like the All-Star game, talking to broadcasters between pitches. All of it is delayed and monitored, but the best moments feel completely raw. Baseball came late to instant replay. For decades, the sport resisted it almost on principle. The first use of expanded replay came in 2008, limited to home run calls. A full challenge system wasn't introduced until 2014, and even then, the list of reviewable plays was heavily restricted. Today, managers get one challenge per game, capped if successful. Certain plays, like tag plays, force plays, catcher trap calls, and boundary calls, are eligible for review. Others, most notably balls and strikes, were not until this year. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. All reviews are handled by the Replay Operations Center in New York, where a dedicated team of umpires reviews every angle of the play and renders a decision in real time. The average review takes under 2 minutes, though complex plays can stretch longer. Hawkeye's tracking data has begun to inform these reviews. For plays involving the position of a fielder's foot on a base or the exact frame a ball was caught, the system's sub-inch positional data can provide clarity that traditional broadcast cameras can't always offer. Step onto a modern MLB field, and the players look pretty familiar. Stirrups, pine tar, sunflower seeds, but the tools surrounding them, and increasingly on them, are anything but traditional. For 150 years, catchers wiggled their fingers to call pitches. It was tradition. It was theater. And it was vulnerable to theft. After the Astros sign-stealing scandal of 2017, in which Houston used a camera and a trash can to relay pitch calls to their hitters in real time, MLB spent years looking for a technological solution. They found one in PitchCom. Introduced league-wide in 2022, PitchCom is a wearable device worn by the catcher on their wrist or forearm. It contains a small keypad with buttons that correspond to different pitch types and locations. When the catcher selects a pitch, the call is transmitted via encrypted radio signal directly to a receiver inside the pitcher's hat or glove. The system is encrypted, transmission only, and changes frequencies constantly, making it essentially impossible to intercept with commercial scanning equipment. Up to 3 other players can receive the signal simultaneously, which means infielders can also hear the call and prepare accordingly. Adoption has been near universal. Most pitchers prefer it because it eliminates the time-consuming sequences required when a runner is on second base, a runner with a clear sight line to the catcher. The result is faster games, more efficient pitching, and one less edge for old-school sign stealing. PitchCom not only solved a problem, it eliminated an entire category of gamesmanship that had been part of baseball for over a century. MLB players are increasingly surrounded by data gathering technology, especially during spring training and in-season practice. The most widely adopted wearable in baseball is the Whoop Strap, a slim band worn around the wrist or bicep that continuously monitors heart rate variability, sleep quality, and recovery status. Teams use this data to help inform workload decisions, flagging players who are under-recovered before a day of a game following a night game, or identifying patterns in fatigue that precede soft tissue injuries. For pitchers, specifically, wearable technology has become a central tool. Devices like the Motus Sleeve, worn just below the elbow, contain an inertial measurement unit that tracks the stress placed on the medial ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, with every throw. Given that UCL tears are the most common and costly injury in baseball, Tommy John surgery typically costs a pitcher 12 to 18 months of their career, teams are deeply motivated to monitor this load. The sleeve measures elbow torque in Newton meters per throw, varus stress on the UCL during the acceleration phase, arm speed and deceleration, daily and cumulative throw counts. Some teams set daily torque thresholds for their pitchers. If a starter exceeds their target stress load during a bullpen session, their next throwing day may be pushed back, regardless of how they feel. The data now overrules the gut. Hitting is one of the hardest things to do in sports, if not the hardest. A round bat, a round ball, and roughly 400 milliseconds from pitch release to contact. Technology has given hitters an entirely new vocabulary for understanding and improving their swings. Bat sensors, made by companies like Diamond Kinetics and Blast Motion, attach to the knob of a bat and measure swing mechanics in real time. These devices can capture bat speed through the zone, attack angle, the vertical angle at which the barrel enters the hitting zone, time to contact from swing initiation, connection, a proprietary metric for how efficiently the body's rotation transfers to the bat, and peak hand speed. The data syncs wirelessly to an app, giving hitters and coaches frame-by-frame breakdowns of every swing in practice. Combined with StatCast exit velocity data from actual at-bats, players can now build a complete picture of their swing efficiency and its real-world results. For the first time in baseball history, coaches don't have to rely entirely on video and feel to teach hitting. The numbers tell them things their eyes can't. Whether a slight adjustment in attack angle is producing better contact rates, or whether a hitter's bat speed is declining in late innings as fatigue sets in. It is important to note that while permitted for in-game use in the minor leagues, it is still restricted for games at the major league level. Just as the NFL has experimented with RFID-embedded footballs, MLB has been testing instrumented baseballs. Balls with a tiny sensor embedded in the core that can measure velocity, spin, and trajectory from the ball's own perspective. In practice settings and developmental leagues, these balls provide a ground truth measurement for pitch data that complements the external Hawkeye cameras. Where cameras calculate spin from visual observation, the embedded sensor measures it directly. For now, instrumented balls are not used in regular season games. The sensor adds a small amount of weight and changes the feel of the ball in ways that aren't yet acceptable at the major league level. But in pitching labs and player development facilities, they've become a standard tool. Combined with Hawkeye's optical data, the picture of what a baseball does from the moment it leaves a pitcher's hand to the moment it hits the catcher's mitt is now more complete than anyone could have imagined a generation ago. In no sport has technology reshaped strategy more completely than baseball. The front office and the dugout have been transformed by data, and the ripple effects have changed everything from how rosters are built to how pitchers are used. For years, the concept of an automated ball strike system, colloquially called robot umps, was a punchline. Then it became a genuine debate, and now it's a reality in the minor leagues, with an active path to the majors. In fact, it's now in the majors. The ABS, or Automated Ball Strike System, uses Hawkeye's tracking cameras to determine in real time whether a pitch is a ball or a strike. The call is communicated instantly to the home plate umpire via an earpiece, who then relays it to the batter, catcher, and dugout. MLB has been testing 2 different models in AAA. Full ABS, every ball and strike call is made by the system with no human override, and Challenge ABS. The human umpire makes the call, but each team is given a limited number of challenges per game to appeal the automated system. The challenge system has been the more popular model and is now used at the major league level. Only 3 people can challenge: the batter, the catcher, and, of course, the pitcher. Each team gets 2 challenges per game. The challenge is retained if correct and lost if incorrect. Preserves the umpire's role while giving teams a recourse when a call seems wrong. And with Hawkeye's sub-inch accuracy, the system is right far more often than any individual umpire could be. The strike zone the system uses is still the rulebook zone, but applied consistently to the millimeter on every pitch, which is both its appeal and its most controversial feature. For decades, the umpire's zone was part of the game's texture. Catchers spent entire careers learning to frame pitches. Pitchers built reputations for working the edges. All of that changes when the machine calls exactly what the rule says. The umpires' union has fought the change. Traditionalists argue it removes human drama. But every pitcher who has lost a game on a blown ball 4 call, and every fan who has watched the strike zone box on TV and wondered how that was a ball, understands why it's arrived at the major league level. The beauty of it is its limitations. Catcher framing is still important. A great frame could garner a favorable call, and then put the pressure on the batter to use one of the team's only 2 challenges, with an incorrect challenge potentially costing the team further down the road. It's a great system as it currently stands. ABS maintains small gamesmanship nuances that fans love, while also preventing egregious calls from negatively impacting an outcome, if challenged correctly. One of the most visible tech-driven changes in recent MLB history wasn't a device or tracking system. It was a clock. Introduced for the 2023 season after years of testing in the minors, the pitch clock requires pitchers to begin their delivery within 15 seconds with no runners on base and 20 seconds with runners on. Batters must be in the box and alert with 8 seconds remaining, or they receive an automatic strike call. Violations by the pitcher result in an automatic ball. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Average game time dropped by over 24 minutes in the first season, from 3 hours and 3 minutes in 2022 to 2 hours and 38 minutes in 2023. Baseball, famously resistant to tinkering with its pace, has been transformed in a single offseason. The infrastructure behind the pitch clock is more sophisticated than it looks. Each stadium uses a system of visible digital clocks, typically mounted in the outfield and behind home plate, connected to a central timing system managed by the official scorer. The clocks communicate with the umpiring crew in real time, and violations are logged automatically. Teams have had to adjust. Pitchers who relied on lengthy routines between pitches have had to develop new habits. Catchers have had to streamline their sign-giving process, which is another reason PitchCom adoption was so rapid. Managers have had to think differently about mound visits, warm-up protocols, and pitcher preparation. The pitch clock is, in its own way, one of the most consequential pieces of technology in baseball history. Not because it's flashy, but because it changed the fundamental rhythm of the game. Gone are the days of a manager squinting at a 3-ring binder of scouting reports. Modern MLB dugouts operate with sophisticated video and data infrastructure that would have looked like a war room a generation ago. Each team's clubhouse has a dedicated video room, staffed by analysts and video coordinators who curate footage for every player before each series. Hitters review opposing pitcher tendencies, what they throw into strike counts, how their breaking ball moves with runners on base, where they like to locate their fastball against left-handed hitters. Pitchers review opposing lineups with equally granular detail. During games, replay coordinators in the dugout watch the live feed on tablets, ready to advise the manager on whether to issue a challenge. These aren't just fans with iPads. They're trained analysts who understand the league's challenge rules, know the replay operations center's historical tendencies on specific play types, and can make a recommendation within seconds of a bang-bang play. MLB tightly regulates in-game video use. Teams cannot watch live in-game footage of the opponent's signs or pitch selection, a direct response to the Astros scandal. Video systems in dugouts are subject to delay requirements and audit by league officials. Violations carry severe consequences. But within those rules, the analytical horsepower available to modern managers is extraordinary. Defensive positioning is now driven almost entirely by StatCast data. Every shift, every outfield shading, every infield alignment is the product of a spray chart analysis that shows, with years of data, exactly where each batter tends to put the ball in play. Baseball has been notably more conservative than the NFL when it comes to electronic communication between coaches and players during live play. Historically, the only sanctioned live communication channel was the manager walking to the mound, a ritual that is now itself constrained by rules limiting mound visits. PitchCom was the first real breach of that wall, and it changed the game. The next logical question is, what else can be communicated electronically? MLB has been cautious. There are no live coach-to-batter communication systems at the major league level. No earpiece and batting helmets. No real-time data feeds to fielders telling them where to position before a pitch. But the conversation is happening. In the Atlantic League, an MLB partner league, used as a testing ground for rule changes, experiments with real-time positioning data fed to fielders have taken place. The AFL and various developmental leagues have tested expanded communication systems as well. The NFL's experience with helmet radios is watched closely. The concern isn't just about fairness or competitive balance. It's about the nature of the game itself. Baseball, more than most sports, values the autonomy of players in the moment. The pitcher deciding between a fastball and a slider. The hitter deciding whether to take the pitch or swing. The moment coaches can transmit real-time instructions into the helmet, some of that autonomy changes. As with most tech in the MLB, it's not a matter of if it will arrive, just when, and what will be different when it does. Baseball has always been a game of numbers: batting averages, ERA, on-base percentage. The sport has been quantified longer than almost any other. But what's happened in the last decade isn't just more numbers. It's a fundamentally different relationship between the game and the data that surrounds it. StatCast measures things that didn't have a language before: expected batting average, barrel percentage, spin-induced vertical break. PitchCom made sign stealing technologically obsolete. The pitch clock compressed a 3-hour game into something that fits differently into a Tuesday night. And robot umps are sitting in the minors, getting better, waiting. The pace of change is only accelerating. Wearables are generating player health data that teams are only beginning to understand how to use. Smart baseballs are waiting for the right moment to enter the big leagues. Augmented reality broadcasts are bringing fans closer to the data than ever before. And somewhere in a developmental lab, the next generation of tools is already being tested on a backfield in Arizona or Florida. What's next? Perhaps a day when a batter receives real-time pitch prediction data through a device in their helmet. Perhaps automated field alignments that update instantly with every count change. Perhaps a stadium where every fan's phone is receiving the same StatCast feed the coaches are watching. Some of that sounds like it belongs in the future. But then again, 10 years ago, so did a clock on a baseball field. The future is already here. It's just wearing a batting helmet and waiting for its pitch.